Hello everyone, welcome to CISA Decoded with Aswini Srinath. In this series, we are going to decode one CISA question at a time so that you don't need to memorize the answers, you just need to think like an auditor. Now, let's get started with the question of the day. Let's have a read through of the question. Akshara, an IS auditor, is developing the annual IET audit plan. The organization has recently implemented several new information systems. Senior management asked her to focus mainly on these systems. However, during her review, Akshara notices that some legacy systems supporting critical business processes have not been audited for several years. Now, the question is, what should Akshara do next? Now let's read the options. Audit the newly implemented system as requested by senior management. Option B, audit the system that were not included in the previous year's audit scope. Option C, conduct a risk assessment to identify the highest risk systems and plan the audit accordingly. Include both newly implemented system and the legacy system in the audit plan without prioritization. So now, so look into the question, have a read through of the question, and always have a process of elimination when you go for the options. So now there are four options A, B, C, and D. Now, let's look into each of the options. Option A speaks about auditing the new implemented system as requested by senior management. So, this option focuses mainly on the management's request. This compromises the audit independence. As part of the professional ethics, the auditor needs to be independent in his approach. So, A is not the right answer here. Now, let's look into the next option, which is B. So, B looks like at what was missed earlier. So, here they still ignore the current risk level, right? So, in such a case, that cannot be the first step or the next step that can be taken by the IS auditor. So, option B is also eliminated. Now, let's look into option D. So, option D includes everything but without prioritization, which is not practical and it is not risk based as well. So, that's the reason we eliminate D. Now, look for option C. So, option C is the correct answer. Conducting a risk assessment to identify the high risk systems and plan the audit accordingly. That is the intention of an auditor to carry on the audit based on the risk that is involved rather than going a technology driven or rather than going a management driven approach. So, and yes, definitely it is not based on the convenience, it is based on the risk that is involved under each area. The auditor has to proceed with the audit. So, as an auditor, now what's Akshara's responsibility is to work independently, assess where the risk is exactly, and prioritize the audit where the risk is of a higher level. So, that's why option C is the right answer here. So, like this, you need to look into the options and try to eliminate the options based on the proper justification and pick up the right answer. So, one question, one concept, one insight at a time. I will meet you in the next question. Thank you.